Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode in my Football Manager series. This is episode number 68. And today we're returning with two big games as we take on Manchester City in the Premier League, then an FA Cup third round replay against the pesky Baggies. Before we get to the games though, shall acknowledge we get on the camera, and also some very interesting transfer and contract news as well. Let's get to that first. And we'll start with a player that will be departing come the end of the season on a free transfer, and I'm gutted to be losing him, especially on a freebie as well. It's Moises, who you've probably never seen in the save before, if not once at the very most. But Moises, the young Brazilian who we signed about 3 or 4 years ago now from Cruzeiro for £4 million. He spent a season with us, but only again played on very rare occasions, 4 appearances in total, and 3 of those 4 coming from the bench. So the past 2 and now 2.5 years, he's been loaned out to Borussia Mönchengladbach, last year at Montpellier, where he did really well, and this year at Lyon, where he's not done too badly either. His deal is due to expire at the end of the season, and since last year, I've been trying to give him a new contract, and every time I try and negotiate, the agent says he doesn't want to negotiate with us. I did get the chance to negotiate this time, but unfortunately he turned me down and he wants to join Roma instead. So gutted about that. He's only going to turn 21 in March, so he's still a really young player. He's not developed amazingly so, but the media still describe him as a wonder kid. He has got some really nice stats. 18 first touch, 17 passing, 15 technique, 16 off the ball, 18 decisions with 16 agility as well. So to be losing on a free transfer, gutted about that, because he is quite versatile as well. And we'll never get to use him in the end. They signed him 4 years ago, and he never really played for us. So pretty gutted about that. But one player has signed a contract extension, and I think you'll be pleased to know it's this guy. Yes, Karamoko Bionic Legs Dembele has agreed to sign an extension. He was out of contract at the end of the season, and I didn't want to lose him for free. Spurs put in a knockoff bid of £10 million a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, right, just because of that, that's insulting. I think he deserves a contract because he's worth way more than £10 million. I love this as well. Karamoko, as you know, over the past couple of years has had a big reduction in his minutes and his game time, and the main reason why is not a knock to the kid, it's because we've changed our tactics. You know, the first few years he was a prominent figure in our team, but the past couple he's really had to accept a reduced squad role, and because of that he also accepted a reduced salary as well. He was on 60 grand a week, now he's taking a pay cut to 50 grand a week. It's a new 4-year deal, and whilst he doesn't really fit into our tactical system, he's only 23 years old, and we'll always have a soft spot for Dembele as well. And as a squad player, you know, he does the job when he's in the team, and I really like Dembele. I know you guys do as well. So Karamoko's staying, new 4-year deal, and again a pay cut as well. You love to see it. Now, as for the run off camera, on the back of our 3-1 defeat to Arsenal and 2-0 victory over Sheffield Wednesday in the last episode, I played 5 games, 3 in the league, 1 in the FA Cup and 1 in the EFL Cup as well. And let me tell you, this was a truly bizarre run off camera, but a very impressive one. Now, we began with a 1-0 victory on the South Coast against Bournemouth at the Vitality. Pavlovic scoring our only goal again. I've been such a huge fan of this Serbian since he came in, as we won by 1-0. And then on Boxing Day, I picked a very much changed lineup for this game as we travelled to Old Trafford to take on Manchester United, one of the best teams in England in the save, and we won by 1-0. Provenzano scoring what was a really poor piece of goalkeeping, really. Should have saved it, but it went straight through him and into the back of the net. But again, look at the lineup here. Really, really weak, yet somehow we came away with a win. But despite that being the case, this still wasn't the most bizarre result of the run off camera. Following that, our final game of December, the first side were rested after the Boxing Day win, so we took on Burnley, who were rock bottom at home, and thrashed them by 5 goals to one of a fully fit side. Teddy Gray scored 1, Mason Mounts got 1, and Ryan Brewster, who came back from the damaged kneecap, scored a hat-trick in this game. He's still the top scorer in the Premier League right now, as he got 3 of our 5 in this one. He's going for back-to-back golden boots, and I can't believe he still hasn't been called up for England. I mean, I know last season a lot of his goals were penalties. This season, that's not been the case. I don't know how. He's always getting overlooked in terms of international caps. It's crazy. We won the game by 5-1, and then following that on the 3rd of January on Sunday, I picked a very strong lineup for this. We had West Brom away at the Hawthorns in the FA Cup third round. The Baggies, relegated from last season, right now sitting in 4th place in the Championship, having a decent season. I wanted to get through a minimal fuss, hence my very strong lineup, but we only just about managed to scrape a replay. I don't know why we played so poorly, but we did. It was not our best performance. Miazga gave West Brom the lead with 90 minutes to go, and we were on the verge of a cup set and a giant killing here. But but thankfully 6 minutes later Mason Mount rescued us with a lovely goal from range. We did have a goal disallowed right at the end of the game as well through Ryan Brewster for offside, but 1-1 was the final score, so we go to a replay. That's why you'll be seeing that game today. But the final game off camera, one of the most bizarre results of this series, but it's not the first time we've seen this sort of thing happen. It's not the first time we've seen it throughout the course of the run off the camera. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Look at my lineup here for the EFL Cup semi-final first leg against Arsenal, the best team in England to save. It was trash. Utterly trash. I mean, it was such a weakened side. Alex Telles was playing as a deep-lying playmaker in this game. Yet somehow we beat the Gunners by 3-1. And again, it's not the first time it's happened. It happened in the run-off camera against Manchester United. I pick a really weak lineup and we somehow managed to get a win against all odds. Abby, our fourth choice striker, should be our first choice striker based on his performance in this game. Scored 2 goals. The second was amazing. Picked the ball on the halfway line. Dribbled around one, went all the way and smacked it in. And whilst the Gunners did get what could prove to be a crucial away goal of 18 minutes to go from a set piece, Mason Mount scored his second in 2 in stoppage time, the 96th minute, as we wrapped the game up with a famous and downright bizarre 3-1 victory with a truly awful lineup. Again, it's not the first time it's happened in the save. I can think of multiple games when this has happened. I've picked a really weak lineup, yet somehow we've came away with a result. But this one, the most bizarre of the lot, I think. I can't believe we won the first leg 3-1 and we're 90 minutes away from a place in the Carabao Cup final again. But right now in the Premier League, as you can see, after those wins in succession, we currently sit in 5th place in the table. We have dropped down, but Manchester United are only back in the top 4 as they've played a game more than us. If we beat Man City today, we'll jump back into the top 4. But it's very tight right now. Chelsea, Arsenal and Liverpool right now look like the favourites to win the title, with Chelsea top with 47 points, 1 point clear of the Gunners. But Liverpool not too far behind. Manchester United not too far behind. Do you know, even we're not too far behind right now on 39 points. But I'm not worried about what's going on there in the top 3. I'm just trying to sneak into 4 for the first time in the series. And just before the first game as well, I suppose you guys might be interested in the financial screen here with Norwich, as we are now into the January transfer window. I probably will look to make one signing for squad depth in this window. Who we pick up though, I'm not entirely sure. Possibly a creative English midfielder, who knows? But yeah, 264.4 mil in the bank balance right now. The club is as healthy as a horse, and the transfer budget just shy of 50 mil as well. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see one new arrival to the team in this January window for squad depth. And also as well, Adam Ida's deal, by the way, has now gone through. It went through in December, actually, before our January window opened, as he moved to Club America in Mexico. And he's off to a great start there as well. 2 goals and 2 assists in the first 3 games. Go on, Adam. We'll always have a soft spot for you. And who knows, maybe one day he'll come back here to Carrow Road. So, yep, first game today. Let's just dive right into it. It's Manchester City at home, based on what happened in the EFL Cup semi-final during the week. I wish I was picking a weaker lineup for the game. But right now in the injury, as you can see, O'Connor is not fit enough to play. Abbey probably shouldn't even be on the bench, really. I'm going to take him off right now as a last-minute alteration to my team. But everyone else is fit. And right now the main absentee is Herman Bamba, who won't be coming back until February. That's because he's at the African Cup of Nations with Ivory Coast. I know Bamba this season has not been quite as good as he was last year, but he has picked it up in recent weeks. Now 6 assists in 17 Premier League games. Still yet to score a goal for us this season though, Herman, and it's still a shame to miss what is our best creative attacking midfielder and probably best player in the team as well. But this is our team for the game. I'm going to go 4-4-2 for the game too, as we continue to try and bamboozle our opponents and keep them guessing with our tactics. It's the wing play system we got from the preset and made some adjustments to at the start of the season. And this is our lineup. Zangarani's in goal. It's about for Sanabria, Pavlovic, Godfrey and Aarons, with Teddy Gray starting on the left-hand side. Third highest scorer in the Premier League, but we don't really have too many players who can play as natural wide midfielders, but Gray can, so he's on the left-hand side today. You've got Dembele on the right, and in the middle, Mount and Provenzano, with Brewster and Carl up top together today. On the bench, Henderson, Basia, Warburton, Larici, Longstaff, Madu, and Jokic, as well, as we're a little bit thin on the ground in offensive pieces on the bench. Anyway, first game, it's Man City. Come on, you Canaries, let's get a big 3 points here. By the way, if we do make it through the FA Cup third round replay, which will of course be our second game of today's episode, we will be taking on another Premier League side in the 4th round. It will be one of Leicester or Burnley, who are also going to a replay as well. Of course, that is our cup, the FA Cup. That's why I'm coming back for the replay, because like I thought we'd get through the first fixture against them with ease. But it's our competition. It's the first trophy we've ever tried to defend in the save. And so if we are to go out early, I'd want you guys to see it on camera, if you will. But that's why we're coming back for it today. But I feel we should be able to get through the replay since it will be at home. But, you know, I have to say, again, sometimes those fixtures can be very, very tough and very, very tense. I am still going to be mostly focused about the Premier League this season, though, because, again, I think we've got what it takes to qualify for the Europa League via league position alone. I don't think we need to win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup in order to qualify for Europe for next season. No, I think we should be able to finish either 5th or 6th this season. We've got the quality to do that. As I said before, I can't see us dropping out of the top 6 between now and the end of the save. I think we've got a good enough team to remain in the Europa League place at the very least. As Roger says, maybe not, and makes it 1-0. But it's the top 4 that's the big thing for me. Last year we missed out on goal difference. This year again it's very, very tight indeed. If we lose this game we'll remain 1 point behind the Red Devils. It's so bloody hard to break up the big teams in Football Manager, and this could be the season. I'm putting not all my eggs in one basket, but really my 2 main competitions this year are the Premier League and the Europa League. They're the 2 routes to the Champions League. That's what I want for next season. I don't even rate Man City's team very highly in this save at the moment. Yet for some reason, every time we faced them, we always lose. Rodgers should have made it 2-0 and got his second goal of the game. For some reason, we can't stand up to these boys. We've got just as good of a team as they do, in my opinion. But for some reason, we really struggle against them psychologically, perhaps, as Greyhead's clear and Camavinga plays it back. I don't know what it is, really. It's just such a downright bizarre Football Manager this year again. Well, you can have those sort of results where you pick a totally weakened lineup and then beat the best team in England somehow by 3-1, and yet on the weekend, fully fit, fully strength lineup, which I would say is as good as the team we're taking on, if not better. And for some reason, we started off so passive, so submissive, and look absolutely terrible. For Sharon trying to cross, and the deflection drops to Troy Parrott, and Camavinga fires it just over. What is going on? Again, it's not the first time I've picked a totally rotated lineup and somehow managed to beat a big team or at least get a result of them. We've done it on numerous occasions throughout the save. It's really, really strange. And it's starting to make me wonder, maybe in these sort of games, I should start just playing the fringe players, because clearly the first team can't win, but the backup brigade have more of a chance, as Godfrey clears, and it's still 1-0. And again, these are the results, and these are the games where I started to get frustrated. I don't mind losing a game if we've been beaten by the better team, and I don't mind losing the game if we've played well, but just haven't had the rub of the green. But today, we've just not turned up, and that is not acceptable. Again, I can accept losing, which again is a really good thing based on how this series has gone, but I can't accept not putting in the effort. I'm going to pick a weakened lineup in midweek against West Brom, and I'm going to risk going out of the FA Cup because this has been absolutely shocking. We've done nothing today. Chance for a set piece, which is cleared by Camavinga. No attacks, no chances, no nothing today. This is just not good enough. And these sort of results and these sort of performances won't get us into top 4. Brewster has our first chance, heads it into the side netting. Just unacceptable. Come on, Teddy, get after that. Get after that. There we go. Down the left-hand side. What can you do? What can you do? Former Crystal Palace man, 3rd highest scorer in the Premier League. Good cross, and Brewster heads off target. Better showing in the second half, but it's a little too late, really. Oh, Sanabria chased that down. Well done. Can we get a late chance here and find a late point, which I'd certainly take? As Mason Mount finds the left back who crosses. It might drop to Provenzano. Oh, just wide. Not good enough. And these sort of performances will not get us into the Champions League. We don't deserve Champions League football when we play like this. I mean, yeah, we picked it up in the second half after I got aggressive at half-time, but it's still not good enough by my book. Nowhere near good enough. We've got a better team than them. We're at home. They're fully fit after I rested them all in midweek. And yet, somehow, the backup brigade can beat the best team in England 3-1. And yet, they're at home. We passively get defeated 1-0. Just... It's the most difficult FM I've ever played, but it's also the most bizarre one. It makes no sense, this game. By the way, something worth pointing out as well is Valencia assigned one of my targets there. Rafael, do you guys know the name? Rafael. He's a Spanish centre-half who was part of the poll that I put on Twitter at the start of last year. He's just been signed by Manchester United. He's the ex-Sevilla centre-half wonder kid, who's described now as an elite centre-back. He's 21 years old. And Manchester United signed him for £107 million. Absolutely ridiculous. Like I said before, wonder kids in this save are at a premium, and the very best get snapped up by the biggest of teams, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can't afford 107 million, certainly not right now. And yeah, he's now at Old Trafford. So moving on, let's hope for something better now as we head into the FA Cup third round replay against West Bromwich Albion. And I'm going to pick a weekend lineup for this game here and risk going out of our FA Cup just to try and prove a point more than anything to my senior team that, quite frankly, they've not been good enough at times this season, and it's embarrassing. And the backup brigade, if they keep on winning, I'll keep picking them. So this is our team going to our 4-1-4-1 Gegenpress system, and we'll line up with these boys. Dean's in goal. It's about for Warburton, Basia, Akuaku and Larici, with Longstaff, O'Connor and Mount through the middle. On the wings, going to make one late change, actually, due to what I've just seen there. Karamoko, of course, started, didn't he? He's going to now miss out of the squad. So it'll be Crowley on the right, Jokic on the left, and Abbey, who scored those 2 goals against Arsenal, leading the line. And on the bench, Zangarandi, Godfrey, Teles, Sadi, Madu, Gray, and Rian Brewster as well. Such a weak lineup against an in-form West Brom team, but I've got more faith in these guys than our senior team. Come on, you Canaries. Based on what's been going on of late, these boys are performing better than my usual starters. So, yeah, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'd rather miss out the starters today than play them. Because I can't wrap my head around the fact that these backup boys have already got 2 massive wins against Manchester United and Arsenal in the space of the last 20 days. Just makes no sense. Again, look at the way we started this game. Dominating possession, couple of attempts already, and 12 minutes in, we've got ourselves a highlight. Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's a big difference between playing West Brom and Manchester City, but we just seem so much better. These guys just seem to want it more, if that makes sense, as Warburton crosses. Abbey's in the middle and heads it just over the bar. And I must say, the French striker's really trying to prove a point this season. He's quite tired out there already. Wasn't fully fit to start the game anyway. But again, 4th choice striker. We've brought in Gray, we've brought in Crowley. And he might be thinking this is his last season at the club, unless he becomes a regular goal scorer for us in these sort of games. Still 0-0, but here's a Akuaku down the left-hand side. And as the mask plays it back, we're looking for a chance for the first goal. Mount on the ball. He can strike him. Oh, he certainly can. He certainly can. That's Mason's 3rd goal in 4 games, I believe. And Norwich had the breakthrough for an absolute screamer. I know he wants to leave. He still hasn't dropped that issue in the team dynamic screen as Spurs still show interest. But Mason Mount, you are going absolutely nowhere. I love him. He's got great mental stats, perfect box-to-box midfielder, and that is an absolute corker. Again, I think it's his 3rd goal in 4 games, and he's given us the lead. Jota trying to get in behind Akuaku, who can't deny the cross, and Camelo, scores and makes it 1-1. Dean, gotta save that, mate. Man, I miss Farines. I really do. I so badly wish someone would have put in an offer for Dean Henderson in the summer, so I could have had the Venezuelan as a backup. He's got to stop that. Gets down quickly, but flimsy wrists can only put it into the bottom corner as the Spaniard makes it 1-1. I tell you this, I still fancy our chances of winning this, but if we have a huge loss on the weekend and go out the FA Cup, with Chelsea next and some more big games to come in January, this could be a season-ending month of January for our series. Jokic crosses and Abbey makes it 2-1, but restores the lead seconds after conceding. It says, Gaffer, don't worry, I've got this. When you think about it, we've got the EFL Cup semi-final second leg to come. This, our FA Cup defence. Massive Premier League games too. Again, realistically, we could be out of both domestic cup competitions and be several points behind the top 4 as well if we don't sort our form out. Crowley's cross, O'Connor flicks on and Jokic wraps it up to make it 3-1 right before the break. Flag stays down. Is it going to count? No, VAR is going to chalk it off. Carl's free kick was good, nodded on, and yeah, don't really need the replay for that one then, do we, as Jokic was clearly offside. And that will do it for the first half. Dominating possession, looking a far better team. Can we now make it 3 from this free kick? No, Abbey heads over. Still 2-1, but again, look how more assertive we look in this game here with a weakened lineup. Again, I know there's a difference of quality in our opponents, but still, when we had a first team out there in the original fixture against these guys, we didn't turn up, and we only just about managed to scrape a replay. I'd love a 3rd goal in this second half as Jokic is denied to give us a bit of a cushion. But still the lead is just 1. I feel very confident though. I feel very confident in these backup boys out there because they are really asserting themselves. Still the lead is 1 with 15 minutes to go. Corner for the Baggies. O'Connor heads clear but not fully as Camelo, their goal scorer, picks it up and keeps the chance alive. I can see West Brom nicking a late equalising goal. I think there is going to be a fourth goal in this game, but it's going to be crucial as to who gets it. If we get a third, that's the contest over. If West Brom get the goal, they'll have momentum heading into extra time. As that long ball is cut out by Larici, but only temporarily. It will drop to Richards, who crosses. Warburton clears, and we're hanging on in there. Careful, careful. Crowley wins it back. Abbey. Crowley. Oh, yeah, squeezed it in, and that should wrap it up now. 3-1, 2-goal cushion, 14 minutes to go, and that, as it said, should put the game beyond doubt. So West Brom looking for a very late chance here, and they had one as well, but put it wide the post to possibly keep themselves in with a glimmer of hope, but with a minute to go, that should do it now. Canaries heading into the fourth round of the FA Cup as our defence will continue. And, I mean, yeah, again, there's a big difference between West Brom and Man City, don't get me wrong, but it is just really, really strange what I've noticed throughout the course of this save. It just seems like the backup teams that I pick seem more up for the games than when I use my best 11. Maybe it's just a coincidence, maybe it's something else, maybe it's all about mentality. Who knows? But the Canaries are through to the fourth round with a 3-1 victory with the backup brigade here. And again, with Chelsea, top of the table where it's Stamford Bridge on the weekend. Well, put it this way, we've got Chelsea and Manchester United to come in 2 of our next 3 fixtures. I will pick a weakened lineup in at least one of those games and see what happens, because based on what we've seen in recent weeks, I seem to have more confidence in the backup brigade right now. Regardless, it's going to be Leicester City in the FA Cup fourth round. That I think will be coming in a week's time or 10 days time perhaps. Yeah, 10 days time, we've got Leicester. So we have got so many huge fixtures coming in January. I don't even know what games to come back for here. Do we do the fourth round plus Manchester United? Do we do the second leg of the EFL Cup semi-final and Leicester? Do we do Chelsea and Manchester United? I don't even know what game's going to pick for the next episode. But I kind of do want to play the next 2 Premier League games because they're going to be so crucial. In fact, what I might do is a treble header. Just play the game at Stamford Bridge and then Manchester United, Leicester and Arsenal in all 3 of our domestic competitions. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a treble header. So, well, today's episode of the Football Manager series, guys. So, big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode with 3 huge games in 3 different competitions, and maybe a new signing as well very soon.